Perfect. So let's do it. Let's do it. All right. So Jon VI from A Storm of Swords. Cool. Let's sink our teeth into it. But first I hear you ask. But surely wasn't John the Sixth also the name of a pope? Aha. Yeah. Well, I'm glad you asked. Because Pope John the Sixth, you see, was the Bishop of Rome from the 30th of October 701 AD to his death. John VI was a Greek from Ephesus who reigned during the Byzantine papacy. So there. His papacy was noted for military and political breakthroughs on the Italian peninsula. So, yeah, there are some parallels there. And I know, your prayers have been answered because John VI was indeed the name of a king as well. There you go, see? 11 centuries later, John VI, nicknamed the Clement, was king of the United Kingdom of Portugal, Brazil, and the Algarves from 1816 to 1825. There, huh? That's it. Aren't you glad now that this information has resurfaced? Okay. So the history corner having been dealt with, let's move on to our John, shall we? I don't know why I keep doing these things, but I don't know. It's just it's difficult to shake off. Okay, no, seriously, because the moment is dramatic. John, having escaped the wildlings, or free folk, as they prefer to be referred as, it's a race against time, because he has to get to Castle Black before them, so he can warn his brothers, his sworn brothers of the Watch, whatever is left of them, of the impending attack. So the mare he's been riding is exhausted, but he won't allow himself or her to rest for a minute. Oh, and without a saddle. That's right, he's up shit creek without a saddle. Not to mention the wound on his leg from the arrows, the arrow that hit him, which may or may not have been fired by Ygritte. Yeah, and I bet it's not a good hair day either. So there. Also, mentally, he's not in a good place. Like, he doesn't know how many of the Night's Watch brothers made it back to the wall from the Feast of the First Man massacre. The Old Bear, maybe, who knows? Sam, Gren, Dolorous, Ed, Dywyn. And he's conflicted because he can't stop thinking about Ygritte. He shouldn't have left her. He shouldn't have fallen for her in the first place. He can kind of see the parallels, with his own father when he had to return to his life of duty after that brief fling he had with Jon's mother, if that's indeed what happened. So that's how he feels right now, anyway. Although, really, the actual quote here is, you were wrong to leave her. No, you're wrong to love her, you were wrong to leave her. Yeah, that makes for a great refrain. And he finally gets to Mole Town at the first lights of dawn and wakes up a couple of boys at the brothel, because why not? Because the brothel is kind of like an establishment there in Mole Town that offers various amenities other than the one thing you would expect from a brothel. In fact, I like to picture it as a sort of like a saloon you see in westerns. Plum, 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 plum. Yes, there's the piano. And you can turn up and order, food and beer and bevs of various kinds, even ask for a horse and somehow they will give you one, which the boys do, no questions asked. A fresh horse and some wine, no charge, because they're friends of the Watch. Now, wait, but he's not wearing the Night's Watch uniform, so what's that about? So maybe the two kids actually know John. You've been frequenting this establishment, naughty, because they don't question his new attire, sheepskins and whatnot. Don't they think that he might have deserted? Okay, well, anyway, we're not told. We're not told how the exchange goes. Bottom line is, he gets a new horse. Black Garon and a whole flagon skin of wine, which must really work wonders and miracles on him, considering that he's been riding on an empty stomach. And early morning drinkers on the wheel, nah, I don't know about that. Anyway, so Jon kickstarts, and this is at Moultown. This is where Jon kickstarts the mass exodus towards Castle Black here, because he goes, look, guys, you'd better start packing, man, because an invasion is coming. Make your way to Castle Black. If you know what's good for you, just spread the word. And then, just like that, poof, off he goes. Cloppity-clop, that's the sound of hooves. And he finally reaches Castle Black. And it looks deserted. No one is manning the top, as far as he can tell. All the stairs, those wooden stairs that snake their way along the south side of the wall. And he just rides straight inside and no one questions him. What's going on? He really looks deserted and disheveled and miserable around here. So he's thinking, what if the Thens beat me to it? But he does see smoke rising from the armory, so he thinks, great, okay, someone is hard at work here. So he enters, and sure enough, there's the one-armed armorer, Donald Noyle, doing his thing, working his bellows at the fire, and it's a great moment because these two guys go back a while and they're fond of each other, and they thought they'd never see each other again. So, Jon, oh my God, what happened to your face? He's asked, not for the first time. Oh, yeah, that's right, an eagle, yeah. More like a skin changer, or warg, if you like, yeah. Yeah, the story being, if you remember that when Jon first captured Ygritte with the Shadow Tower guys up in the Skirling Pass, he also killed the two wildlings who were with her. One of them being a certain Orell, who happened to be a skin changer who controlled an eagle. Now, the current explanation for why at some point after Orell's death, this eagle, out of the blue, tried to rip Jon's face off, leaving permanent scars on his face. The explanation is that due to the magic of skin changing, somehow a portion of Orell's consciousness remained in the eagle, which developed a fierce hatred for Jon. I'm reading here like word for word on the entry on the wiki of Ice and Fire. And now, unless, of course, and this is just me and I'm probably wrong, could it be that the other skin changer in the wildling army, the Uber Master Warg known as Varamir Six Skins, who has the power to inhabit and control 3 wolves, a snow bear, a shadow cat, and an eagle, could it be that he hijacked the eagle after Orell's death, thereby becoming Varamir Seven Skins? Considering that the incident with Jon's face only happened after Jon arrived at camp, so Varamir could have been nearby. I mean, it's an accepted fact that Varamir did sort of inherit the eagle from Orell. What is unclear is, we do know that at some point he takes control of the eagle, but the general consensus is that it was whatever was left of Orell's consciousness that attacked Jon, and this is something that will be fleshed out. The theory will be fleshed out a little bit later with Summer the direwolf in this very chapter, but the general consensus is that it was whatever was left of Orell's consciousness that attacked Jon, whereas I think it was probably Varamir. Where do you think the stress goes? Considering that we do learn that Varamir isn't too fond of Jon either in a later Jon chapter, which I won't go into because spoilers. Anyway, it's my theory, okay? I allow myself at least one theory in each of my commentaries. A theory which incidentally can't apply to the TV series because in one of those typical Game of Thrones fashions, HBO Game of Thrones, both skin-changing characters were merged into one, both played by Mackenzie Crook. So you don't have to wonder which of the two actually attacked Jon because there's only one in the TV series. Anyway, where are my manners, really? Welcome, dear listener, to my rambling commentaries of Song of Ice and Fire, The Storm of Swords, more specifically. I mentioned spoilers, so I might as well lay down my spoiler policy. In this series, I will try to avoid them as much as possible, in the off chance that you, dear listener, might be a first-time reader. So I will only be looking back and not ahead in this series. Right. Okay. With all that housekeeping out of the way, Donald Noye. Yeah, that's right. Because the guy is actually not completely out of the loop as far as Jon's whereabouts are concerned. Turns out that Jarman Buckwell, one of the leaders of those 3 scout parties, another one being Corin Halfhand, well, this Jarman Buckwell spotted Jon riding along beside the wildling column and wearing a sheepskin cloak. Yep, told you. So Donald Noye goes, okay, well, I see that you do fit the description, what with this sheepskin you're wearing. So, Buckwell was right in that regard. So what's the deal, Jon? Have you switched sides now? And should I pull out my sword and gut you? Yeah, he's saying that, but he doesn't really mean it. Oh, come here, you! And it ruffles, musses his hair, much like. No, he doesn't really, no. But I like to think that he would have. In fact, he would have hugged him with one arm. But yeah, because I told you those guys are. There's a connection. There's good chemistry between those two mates. So, so Jon explains, yeah, man, I was following Corin Halfhand's orders, which I do realize is kind of hard to prove now, with Corin being dead and all. And, that's all I'll say about it for now. But, no, okay, it's switched, quickly changing the subject. Oh, so, where's the garrison? Good question. Yeah, well, mate, we're spread out. We're spread a bit thin at the moment, pretty much everywhere. Because wildling platoons are spotted pretty much everywhere. Here, let me read you the quote. Everywhere. Harma Dog's Head was seen at Woodswatch by the pool, Rattleshirt at Long Barrow, the Weeper near Icemark, all along the wall. They're here, they're there, they're climbing near Queensgate, they're hacking at the gates at Greyguard, they're massing against Eastwatch. But one glimpse of a black cloak and they're gone. Next day they're somewhere else. One glimpse of a black cloak and they're gone. Let's bear this line in mind because it's going to be important. And also, Black Crows are presumably are also manning all these towers, or maybe they just spot them on patrol, I suppose. Yeah, but then whenever some potential attack is spotted, then boom, off they go. Some I don't know, like a larger gathering. Let's call it platoon. A platoon is sent. A platoon of Night's Watch brothers is sent to that particular castle, tower to man it properly in case they try it again. But that's a mistake, and Jon has some insights on Mance's strategies, to share. So he goes, oh no, man. Bowen Marsh is in charge now, I seem to understand, even though no one has informed me that the Lord Commander Mormont hasn't returned yet. Yeah, that part isn't really explained. Anyway, so, and Bowen Marsh, let me tell you, Bowen Marsh is playing right into Mance Rayder's hand. He is deliberately spreading us thin all along the wall, but the attack is actually he's actually planning is here. He's here, Castle Black. So if Bowen Marsh is all over the place, manning one castle today, fortifying another the next, who exactly is in charge here? And Donald Noyle goes, oh, well, I'm glad you asked. Because technically, that would be Winton Stout. But, the old geezer is, let's face it, he's seen better days. I mean, he's been ranging for 80 years. Half the time, he doesn't even remember that he's been put in charge. The guy almost drowned in a pea soup when he fell asleep in it. So, yeah. I guess you could say I'm as much in charge as he is of this ghost town. Oh, and speaking of really old guys, shouldn't I take you to Maester Aemon? What, with your leg bleeding and all? What? Oh, this. Oh, yeah, the leg. Yeah, no, mate, there's no time for that. He's been a hero now. There's like a company of wildlings coming this way as we speak, from south, the King's Road. Holy shit. Really? How many? About 120. I should know, I was with them. All right, well, let's go to Maester Aemon first and get you fixed, okay? Off we go, step by step, yeah? What happened to your direwolf? Oh, ghost? You haven't seen him? Nope. No, because I let him go before I scaled the wall. Long story, but he hasn't been seen, has it? Oh, hi, Clydus. This is how the action sort of develops, and there's Clyde. Oh, hi. Hi, Mark. 5 points if you caught that reference. Because that's right. They have arrived at the Maester's study lab type thing. So John lies down for a bit, and he hears all ravens greeting him. Snow, snow, snow. Remembering that it was Sam who taught them that word. Was it really? I don't actually remember. Not to mention that there may be more to these ravens, being able to talk and somehow always say the right word that seems to be to fit the puzzle or the particular situation, kind of like patch face, every utterance, an ominous quote that will make sense later, And then with the crows here, I'm talking about a whole new level of skin changing / warning type thing. Anyway, I'll leave it for now. The point being that these are indeed the ravens Samuel was in charge of in the range in north. Remember, some of them had returned with messages, penned by Sam. We're under attack. There's messages saying that they were under attack at the Feast of the First Men. Funnily enough, the other ravens, those were meant to carry more specific messages, namely explaining by what they were being attacked. Those other ravens arrived empty-handed, empty-clawed, because Sam, panic-stricken as he was, forgot to attach those parchments. So all those letters he scribbled with more details, describing the others, capital O, the Whites or White Walkers, the living dead. Well, Sam never sent any of those letters. Shame. It's all there in Samuel 1. Tut, Sam. Also, some of those ravens, you'll remember, made it all the way to King's Landing. Or so informed us Maester Pycelle in Tyrion 4, this same book. So it's safe to assume that a great deal of those ravens carrying no letters arrived back here at Castle Black. So what about Sam? Yeah, my cat also wants to know. Yeah, what happened to Sam? You tell me. I don't know. Yeah, well, just sit quiet and listen, and then we'll find out. All right, I'll just keep reading. Okay. So yeah, he goes. Yeah, what about Sam? And is he? Where is he now? And well, nobody tells him. No, actually, no, nobody. Oh, right, no, sorry, I misread that. Is the, it's not that they refuse to answer him. No, it's just it's a thought bubble he's having. What about Sam? Did he make it? But yeah, of course, we'll get an answer soon enough. Remember where we last left Sam in a place that he thought was White Tree, but then probably not. Anyway, so when Maester Aemon does arrive, he's all like, "Oh, Donald, okay, put a kettle of wine on the fire, and my irons as well. I will want them red hot. Clydas, quick now, chop chop. I shall need that good sharp knife of yours." Which I don't know about you, but if it was me instead of Jon, hearing a blind 100-year-old maester who's about to perform surgery on me speaking like that, I'd be going, whoa, 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 that's all right, I'm fine. We're done here. Thank you. But yeah, but not Jon, because he trusts the man completely. And he starts telling him the whole story too, the climb on the wall, the wildlings he was embedded with. Of course, the actual quote is, "We climb the wall," which Aemon picks on, and he goes, we? Which I think is a nice reversal from when Mance catches Jon still referring to the Night's Watch guys as we. Back in Jon 2, when Mance asks him, how many Black Crows left the wall for this ranging north of yours? For this fancy ranging north of yours? This backpacking adventure? And Jon says, yeah, well, there were 300 of ours. Which was a bit of a slip, admittedly. But, in both cases, it was a fact. Jon did leave the wall with the rest of the Night's Watch. And in this case here, he did scale the wall together with the wildlings. So, what was he supposed to say? But I guess, in both cases, it sounded too much like an ideological we. You know what I mean? Anyway, so Aemon has some not so pleasant news of his own for Jon. Here we go. Yeah, mate, do try to relax while I poke around your wound. Yeah, what was I saying? Oh, yeah, that's right. Lord Commander Mormont was killed in a mutiny. Yeah, sorry. That was back at Craster's Keep. Not a pretty story. It was it was those charming lads, Garth of Old Town, Ollo Lophand, Dirk. We had the full story from those who made it alive, all your friends, Dolorous Ed, Giant, your friend, the Aurochs. About a dozen of them in total. Wow, a dozen? Ouch, that really hurt. Ow. Yeah, because all the while, Maester Aemon is poking around the wound, because there's also, not only, does he need to ascertain the depth and, seriousness of this wound, but, he's also blind, so he needs to touch it in order to figure out what to do about it. So he goes, but, and Jon, he's also hurt by the fact that, of a couple of 100 men left for the Great Ranging, and now a dozen is pretty much all that's left of them. And now with Bowen Marsh in charge, although on paper, Winton stout, but so yeah, I don't know who's worse actually. Yeah, well, Aemon goes, yeah, what are you gonna do? The guy is old, but there's no need for you to be such an ageist bastard. No, he doesn't say that, but he goes, yeah, well, he's the best we got until we find someone more suited. with our democratic process we have here along the wall, says Aemon. More on that later in future chapters. And here we are introduced, I guess for the first time, to the list of other potential candidates for command at Castle Black. Jon is first considering that his uncle Benjen Stark is still missing. And although really, despite Ben being a great ranger, I suppose, there's no reason why he should be considered eligible as a Lord Commander. Well, just because he's highborn, is that... I guess so. I mean, that Royce fella at the prologue of a Game of Thrones just arrived, but he was put in charge of a small ranging of 3 dudes. I guess on account of him being, highborn and therefore castle trained, using castle-forged swords and blades and whatnot. Anyway, okay, but anyway, the Benjen is out of the equation, so makes no matter. But there's Cotter Pike and Sir Dennis Mallister, the former a baseborn from the Iron Islands, as you can tell by the name, in charge of Eastwatch, and the latter commander of Shadow Tower, ever since Corin Halfhand is gone. And incidentally, the two hate each other. So these are the two most likely candidates that Jon is thinking about. But also, this is a good time to remind ourselves of a certain letter Tywin Lannister sent to the Watch, specifically to Bowen Marsh at the time. Listen up. Okay, here we go. Thank God for bookmarks. Here we go. King Joffrey is deeply saddened to hear of Lord Commander Mormont's death, but regrets that he can spare no men just now whilst so many rebels and usurpers remain in the field. He's talking about all the other kings, right? Matters, here we go, listen up. Matters might be quite different once the throne is secure, provided that the king has full confidence in the leadership of the Watch. Oh, and by the way, do pass along His Grace's fondest regards to his faithful friend and servant, Lord Janos Slynt. Aha, remember him? That was masterfully done, huh? So this is just to say that Janos Slynt, Jon might not consider him as a potential candidate, but you know how it is, politics, am I right? We should bear in mind that Monsieur Slynt will have some bearing. By the way, he is at Castle Black right now, is he? He must have arrived a while back while Jon was out ranging. So yeah, there's no reason why Jon should know that Janos Slynt has now entered the equation, I guess. Anyway, so Maester Aemon in the meantime goes, okay, Jon, now this is going to hurt, and proceeds to bite Jon Snow's for no reason. Jon Snow's nose. No, not really, he doesn't do that, but award yourself 5 points if you caught that reference. I'm being really smug today. So now, anyway, so they administer milk of the old puppy to Jon, but the pain is still hard, to ignore. Also, it takes a while for the opioid to take effect. So Jon tries to distract himself by talking. You gotta be on guard, guys. These are Thens, Thens, Thenns, men of the Magnar, a proper military force, disciplined and all, with bronze armor. They're basically Bronze Age guys, Doyle, there's the Doyle. Oh, damn it. I meant Donald Noyle, yeah, or Doyle for short. He's all confused. What? The Magnar, as in House Magnar? What's that? Because there is such a house, from Skagos Island, House Magnar. I remember that house from my days at Eastwatch by the sea. Unless you're talking about the Irish cider, Magnar? No, could it be? No. Nah, mate. Aemon corrects him. No, I think he means Magnar in the old archaic sense, as in leader, commander, whatevs, in that language, up there in the Frost Fangs, north of north, basically uncharted territory. Still, I do wonder if we will encounter this House Magna at some point, particularly when a certain character goes out there on Skagos Island in the search of a certain party of other characters. There. That doesn't count as a spoiler, does it? I'm told. And besides, it hasn't. I mean, it's the whole thing has been sort of set up, but not paid off yet, because the payoff for that one character exploring Skagos Island in the search of these other characters, that story hasn't been told yet, and hopefully it will be told in the Winds of Winter. God, can you imagine being on Skagos Island in winter? I don't envy that particular character. Anyway, so no, it doesn't count as a spoiler. No. So Jon goes, yeah, his name is the Magna. Yeah, his name is Steer. He is a badass. Yeah. Oh, and did I forget to mention that Mance was after the Horn of Winter? Yeah, you're a maester. You'll be acquainted with the legend. A horn that has the power to bring down the wall if you know how to blow it. Or so I heard from a gal who kept reminding me I know nothing. Yeah, Zegas Aemon. Yeah, I'm familiar with the legend, but isn't it like an urban legend, or maybe like a tundra legend, as in Arctic tundra? Because even we maesters don't actually. I mean, most of us maesters don't actually believe that the Horn of Winter is real. Surely. No, man, it's real. They all believe in it. Yeah, dude, you gotta believe. Including that gal who kept reminding me how poor my general knowledge is. They went searching for it in graves and whatnot, and that's what the gal told me. He just can't keep going on about her. She's awesome, by the way. Yeah, she has such a way, how she kisses and how she casually slits throats of random strangers. I broke my vows over her, or with her rather. Well, over on top of her, depending on behind her. And I regret nothing I did under the sheep skins. As you can tell, Jon is already beginning to rave from the milk of the puppy. And even Aemon and Donald are like, yeah, man, yeah, sure. But they're busy working on the wound. At that point, Aemon goes, okay, Donald, I need you to keep him real still because I'm about to do something nasty. Uh-oh. And sure enough, here comes the red-hot knife. A sort of Chekhov's gun, isn't it? And now it's about to be fired. And the pain becomes so unbearable that the dude faints. Screams, faints, curses everyone in the room. And then poof, he goes to sleep. In fact, tell me what you think of this quote that I find appropriate. This is not from Storm of Swords. A pool of darkness opened at my feet and was far, far deeper than the blackest night. I dived into it. There was no bottom. Okay, 5 points if you identified the Big Lebowski. Yeah. Was it Sam Neill, is it? No, not Sam Neill. What's his name? The stranger, the cowboy. Anyway, it'll come back to me. Sam something or other. Samuel. So, all right, never mind. Okay, good job if you correctly identified the quote from the Big Lebowski. But what if I told you that it actually comes from Farewell, My Lovely? Farewell, My Lovely. The Philip Marlowe's novel by Raymond Chandler, which is where Joel and Ethan Coen got it from. Years ago, when I was on a binge read of Raymond Chandler, I flipped through the pages of that great book. They made a couple of or at least I remember one good movie they made from that book. Was it Robert Mitchum? And so anyway, so I was reading that, and when I came across that line, I thought, oh my God, this is familiar. And then I remembered, it's the dude, it's the Big Lebowski. Yeah. You sly little guys. I felt so educated because I didn't, because I came across, firsthand rather than reading about it somewhere on Reddit, on whatnot. Anyway, so yeah, that's, wow, boy, do I digest today. Yeah, because, the dude, not the dude, well, yeah, the dude, it is, John, loses consciousness at that point. And when he finally wakes up, it's a bit like the Hobbits at Rivendell. Oh God, Pip, Gran, oh my God, I better not hug you because my leg hurts like hell. So wow, you're back. And who else made it from the fist of the first men? Well, Gran goes through the list. All right. There's Tywin, Giant. Remember him? So named because he's not very tall. Dolorous Ed, Sweet Donald Heel, Almer, Left Hand Lou, Garth Greyfeather, 4 or 5 more. Now, just to recap. Okay, so Tywin, Giant, and Dolorous Ed are all right in my book. Same for Almer, Lew, and Garth, although I don't remember much about those 3. They all made it to Craster's Keep and didn't take part in the mutiny, is what I'm saying, in any mutiny throughout the novel. However, Sweet Donald Hill was, you will remember, one of the original conspirators who plotted to kill Lord Commander Mormont, Samwell, Tywin, and Bandon. That was, and various others, all the way back in the prologue, with Chet as a ringleader. So I don't know, Sweet Donald Hill, you might be sweet, but I'd keep an eye on him. Just saying. And what about Sam? That's what John wants to know. He finally voices his thoughts. What happened to Sam? And we have to remember that Gran is the one-eyed witness to Sam killing one of the others, capital O, with that dragon glass dagger, obsidian, whatever. So he tells John the story. Trouble is, the last time everyone saw Sam, he was curled up, next to Lord Commander Mormont's lifeless body. And he wouldn't move, They try to kick him. And says, come on, man, snap out of it. This isn't safe. It's not safe around here. Yeah, so Gran goes, we had to, we just couldn't drag him. It's too heavy. And, because at the time, Small Paul had already been killed. So Small Paul was the only one who was capable of carrying Sam. But yeah, they lost him. So we couldn't take him with us. So we had to make like a wishbone, and split. And John is not impressed. He's thinking, you're his brothers, and you left him with those monsters. They've probably eaten him by now. I wouldn't put it past them. So he gets in a state, and the leg makes him yell in pain, but he doesn't say any of that. So Maester Aemon is back. He goes, oh, easy, boy, easy. You should really take it easy. I know I've given you all the concoctions and medicines and, pharmaceutical products available in this day and age, which really boils down to what? Like some boiled wine and a poultice of nettle, mustard seeds, and moldy bread. Penicillin. They discovered some penicillin in the form of moldy bread. But whatever you do, dear listener, do not ever get ill in Westeros. You don't want to try their medicine. And in the meantime, we learned that Donald Noy did take John seriously when when the latter was describing, Stir's tactics, because he has dispatched some men to Weatherback Ridge to watch the King's Road. Ravens have been sent to both Shadow Tower and Eastwatch. So yeah, they're getting busy here at Castle Black. Except that there's also Mance Rayder to worry about, because he'll be coming from the north with giants, mammoths. It does sound a bit crazy when you say it like that, admittedly, but yeah, it's all true. He's coming with giants, mammoths, unicorns, and whatnot. But alas, Jon is about to be hit with the worst news he's ever received in his life. Because, okay, all right, sit down, mate, sit down. It's the trope, the classical trope. Everybody, is looking at each other like a bunch of idiots. They all look concerned. Oh, he doesn't know, before the worst possible news is delivered. And you go, yeah, sit down, Jon, mate, sit down. Here, let me read you the quote from Maester Aemon. Yeah, well, Winterfell is no more. Your brothers died at the command of Theon Greyjoy after he took Winterfell in his father's name. When your father's bannermen threatened to retake it, he put the castle to the torch. And yes, in all his shock and horror, still Jon has time to think, wait a minute, I did see Summer, Bran's direwolf back in Queen's Crown. That was the chapter where two POV characters almost met. Jon is being very meta right now. No, but I mean, yeah, this is what I told you. Like, what if some consciousness? Because Bran could warg with Summer, and how did Jon know about this anyway? I don't remember. But yeah, could it be that some consciousness, some of Bran's consciousness was transferred to Summer? Because I saw him at Queen's Crown. I really don't remember when Jon learns of Bran's, warging capabilities. And it must have been the last time they saw each other, because sure as hell, no one ever told him. He didn't learn it secondhand. He must have learned it from Bran. But for the life of me, I cannot remember in which chapter that was described. So I guess, that will call for yet another reread of book one, but never mind. Okay, yeah, it's not like I don't enjoy that. So yeah. And also he's thinking, wait a minute, okay, I mean, you don't just put Winterfell to the torch and suddenly, poof, grey, granite, stone and iron, the Stone Kings sitting on their thrones. You don't just burn those things and they suddenly collapse. Well, of course, in this day and age, obviously, you just, a skyscraper can just burn 2, 3 stories, can be on fire, and a couple of hours later, it magically and instantly collapses into its own footprint. I learned that somewhere. Anyway, so yeah, but you know what? It's actually Gran who says something interesting here. This is what he says. For anyone who has been wondering what the hell happened to Theon in this whole story, when Winterfell fell, Gran goes, yeah, but you know what? Your brothers were avenged. Bolton's son killed all the Iron Men, and it's said that he's flaying Theon Greyjoy inch by inch for what he did. First of all, ouch. But yeah, it does sound like something Ramsay Snow would do. So it does sound like Ramsay Snow's modus operandi. Just ask Lady Donella Hornwood. But it's interesting because we readers who read A Clash of Kings know that the last thing Theon saw before passing out was Ramsay ordering his men to save the Freys and burn the rest. Burn it all. Right before proceeding to sack Winterfell. And this was in the last Theon chapter, Theon 6, Clash of Kings. And then we had a follow-up from Bran, last Bran chapter, no, the very last chapter in Clash of Kings, when Bran was surveying the conditions of Winterfell after they all emerged from the crypts where they were hiding, with Rickon, Osha, Hodor, the Reeds. And it was basically in ruins, deserted. Ghastly place, really in dire need of repair, shall we say. And then in Catelyn 4, this same book, we had the latest update on that story. Except that it was from Lothar Frey, who gave it the Western mainstream media treatment, Okay, so first of all, he said, this is Lothar, who explained to Catelyn, well, first of all, Roderick Cassel was slain. He used the passive voice so as not to say exactly who slew him. Also, the whole thing was Theon's doing. Yep, everything. He's the one who put the castle to the torch in this Frey narrative, as well as Gren's. You will have noticed. By now it's become, fact, even though it's not true. Every now and then, Lothar Frey back in Catelyn 4, when he was describing the whole thing, every now and then he was inserting all those caveats, There is much confusion in any war, many false reports. Yeah, like the one you just gave us, mate, Lothar Frey. You really... he really does... He really did, in that chapter, Lothar Frey really did sound like mainstream media, The reports could not be independently verified. However, it transpired that all those civilians were killed by the Ironborn, and all of them exclusively by the Ironborn. And in fact, it was Ramsay Snow who saved as many women and children as possible, including the young lives of Big and Little Waldor. Lothar Frey, BBC. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's all true. Always believe what the BBC says. But in all of that, we still didn't find out what happened to Theon, And now Gren is giving us this nugget, although there's this, bit of info. But where could he have learned it from? Where could he have heard it from? Well, I guess this is the news, if the phrase spread it around... And so did the Boltons. Actually, it looks like Gren has even got more insights than the phrase shared back in Catelyn 4. So maybe it is the Boltons the Bolton and Son. Sounds like like a law firm. It's probably Bolton and Son who are spreading the news far and wide, all throughout the north. But anyway, right. All right. Let's conclude. Let's wrap this up, because I would like to conclude this commentary with an actual quote from the text, if you'll bear with me, because it's really sad and poignant. We cut to Jon falling asleep again and dreaming of all the things he has lost. Here, check this out. When the dreams took him, he found himself back home once more, splashing in the hot pools beneath a huge wide weirwood that had his father's place. See, he's mixing the pool, the pool with the godswood. Ygritte was with him, laughing at him, shedding her skins till she was naked as her name day, trying to kiss him. But he couldn't. Not with his father watching. He was the blood of Winterfell, a man of the Night's Watch. I will not father a bastard, he told her. I will not. Oh, you know nothing, Jon Snow, she whispered, her skin dissolving in the hot water, the flesh beneath sloughing. Do you know I don't know that verb? Right, melting off. Yeah, that's it. I'm going to replace it with what I presume to be a synonym. Oh, such an illiterate guy I am. Melting off her bones until only skull and skeleton remained. Yeah, nasty dream, huh? And the pool bubbled thick and red. And that was it. Ew, ouch. So she melted right off in a pool that was, half Winterfell Godswood, and half the famous pool, where Ygritte and Jon had carnal knowledge, and that was portrayed so well, adapted so well for the screen in the HBO series. A pool that is real somewhere, hot water pool somewhere in Iceland, I think, in a cave. So yeah, good location choice. And with this, Jon VI ends a very it's kind of like a sort of like a pivotal chapter, in that it's a transition passage. It starts from doing the Donnie Darko thing, infiltrating the wildlings, and being back with the Night's Watch and fighting for the Night's Watch. This is the transition for it. But I found it filled with very interesting plot points that will be important, like just seeds. George R. R. Martin, like a good gardener, he plants his seeds, and we'll enjoy the fruits of them in future chapters. But anyway, I won't keep you for much longer, because this is where Jon VI ends, and I look forward to talking to you again in the next chapter, which I believe is a Catelyn chapter. And if you enjoy this kind of content, don't forget to do all of the things, and speak to you soon. Bye.